The desert air that night felt different. Thick, electric, almost like it was holding its breath. Thousands of people flooded into the Las Vegas festival grounds, their laughter rising into the neon-lit sky. Music pulsed through the crowd, bass thumping like a heartbeat, lights dancing across faces that came here for one reason: to escape, to feel alive, to lose themselves in sound. But something else was there. At first, no one noticed it. It started subtly, a strange vibration beneath the music. Not part of the speakers, not part of any track the DJ played. It was deeper, older. Some described it later as a hum, others as a whisper. Most didn't notice at all. Not consciously. The festival was at its peak. The main stage exploded with light, and the crowd roared as the headliner stepped forward. Phones lifted into the air like a field of glowing stars. Everyone wanted to capture the moment. That's when the first person felt it. A girl near the front suddenly froze. Her smile faded, her eyes widened. She grabbed her friend's arm. "Do you hear that?" Her friend laughed. "Yeah, it's the music." "No, not that." But before she could explain, the bass dropped again, louder this time, drowning everything else. The crowd jumped in unison, and the moment passed. Or so it seemed. Across the grounds, others began to react. A man near the bar turned his head sharply, scanning the sky. A security guard felt a chill run down his spine despite the desert heat. A group of friends stopped dancing, confused by a sensation they couldn't explain, like being watched, but from everywhere at once. The music kept playing. Then the lights flickered. Just for a second, most people thought it was part of the show. Las Vegas thrives on spectacle, glitches, flashes, illusions. But behind the scenes, technicians exchanged uneasy looks. One of them tapped his headset. "Did you just see that?" "Yeah," another replied. "Power surge." "No. Systems are stable." The lights returned, brighter than before. The DJ raised his hands, feeding off the energy of the crowd. The sound grew louder, heavier, almost overwhelming. And that hum returned, stronger now. It slipped between the beats, weaving itself into the music like it belonged there. But it didn't. It carried a tone that felt wrong. Not out of tune. Something deeper than that. Something that didn't follow the rules. People started reacting more visibly now. Some covered their ears. Others looked around in confusion. A few laughed it off, blaming the intensity of the sound system. But then the screens changed. Behind the stage, massive LED panels displayed shifting visuals, colors, shapes, patterns synced perfectly with the music. Suddenly, those patterns glitched. Lines twisted into symbols. Shapes formed briefly before dissolving again. One of the camera operators zoomed in. "Are those letters?" "No," someone replied. "Just a visual effect." But they weren't letters. Not any known language. The crowd didn't fully understand what they were seeing, but they felt it. A growing unease spread like a ripple. Conversations turned quieter. Movements slowed. Something in the atmosphere had shifted. Then the music stopped. Not gradually. Instantly. The silence hit harder than the sound ever did. Thousands of people stood frozen, the sudden absence of noise almost painful. And in that silence, the hum remained, now unmistakable. It echoed across the entire festival grounds, low and resonant, like it was coming from beneath the earth itself. People began to panic. "What is that? Is this part of the show? It doesn't feel like a show." Phones came out again, but this time not for excitement, for proof. Videos captured confused faces, flickering lights, and that sound, that unnatural sound. Security teams rushed to figure out what was happening. Organizers tried to restart the system, but nothing responded. It was as if the entire setup had been overridden by something else. Then the lights went out. Total darkness. For a moment, the only illumination came from phone screens and the distant glow of the Las Vegas Strip. The crowd murmured, uneasy, waiting for the lights to return. They didn't. Instead, the sky changed. At first, it looked like a trick of the eyes. A distortion above the festival grounds, barely visible against the night. Then it grew clearer, a ripple, like heat waves, but too structured, too deliberate. Someone screamed. People pointed upward as the distortion formed a shape. Not solid, not fully visible, but there. Something massive hovered above them, bending the air around it. The hum intensified, Now it felt like it was inside their heads. Some people dropped to their knees, clutching their ears. Others ran blindly, trying to escape a threat they couldn't understand. The festival had turned into chaos. And then, a voice. Not through speakers. Not from any direction. It wasn't heard, it was felt. A deep, layered tone that seemed to speak without words. Everyone experienced it differently. Some described it as a warning. Others as a command. A few said it felt like a question. The same thought echoed through thousands of minds at once. You were listening, but do you understand? People screamed. Some cried. Others stood frozen, unable to move. Then the lights came back. Just like that, music blasted through the speakers again. Loud, normal, familiar. The screens returned to their original visuals. The sky looked empty, unchanged. The hum was gone. Everything was normal. For a few seconds, no one moved. The sudden shift left the crowd stunned, unsure of what had just happened. Then someone laughed nervously. Bro, that was insane. Best effect ever. Others joined in, convincing themselves it was part of the show. A high-budget illusion. A psychological experience. Las Vegas is known for pushing boundaries, after all. But not everyone believed that. The girl near the front, the one who heard the hum first, shook her head slowly. That wasn't a show. Her friend hesitated. Then what was it? She didn't answer. Because she didn't know. Days later, videos of the event flooded the internet. Some clips showed the flickering lights. Others captured the strange symbols on the screens. A few even recorded the distortion in the sky, but only briefly, and never clearly. Experts tried to explain it. Audio interference, mass hysteria, visual system malfunction. But none of those explanations covered everything. Not the synchronized experience. Not the voice. Not the feeling that something had reached out. Conspiracy theories spread quickly. Some claimed it was a secret government experiment. Others believed it was a signal, an attempt at communication from something beyond our understanding. One theory stood out, that the music itself had been the key. That the frequencies, the rhythms, the energy of thousands of people gathered in one place, had created a doorway. Not physical, but something else. Something that allowed whatever was out there to notice us, to hear us, and maybe, to respond. The festival grounds were cleared and reopened weeks later. Everything looked the same, no signs of anything unusual. But those who were there, they never forgot. Some reported hearing the hum again, faintly, in quiet moments. Others experienced vivid dreams filled with strange symbols and unfamiliar sounds. A few refused to talk about it at all. And sometimes, late at night, when the city lights dim and the desert grows silent, people say you can still feel it. That same vibration, that same presence, waiting, listening, and maybe,